Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, this is the second video that I have of the RIMEHEART build. This is using Magic Missile instead of Ray of Frost. And really, it's just a different offhand with just maybe one different skill. It's just, but it's that much different though. Just that little difference is just makes it from AoE type to a single target, more powerful single target with higher proc rates. So anyway, let's get to the skills. Primary Magic Missile with Glacial Spike. This has a chance to freeze, or well, it will freeze the first time you hit somebody for 1 second, and then it cannot be frozen again for 5 seconds. That's all fine and dandy. I do have the offhand that makes me shoot 3 though, so that does really make this a very strong single target skill. I have Forest, Blizzard, Frozen Solid. This, of course, freezes enemies that are underneath it immediately. Anybody walks underneath it, it won't freeze them. So you just, essentially, if you want to freeze a group where they're at, then you hit this. And also, it's very powerful because once they become unfrozen, you can freeze them right over again. It's great. So that's an instant freeze whenever you want it. All these other ones are kind of just, you can freeze them, but not for another 5 seconds. This one has a chance. You know, so anyway, that's a great filler for when they're not getting frozen. Force, I have Hydra with Frost Hydra. I also do have a helmet that adds to my freezing, so you'll see that here in a second. Also great for damage and defense. So usually I have this nearby me because it is a short range cone, but the cone or the blast actually travel through enemies, so excellent for AoE. Conjuration Familiar with Icicle. This just adds damage, 240% weapon damage for each little ice ball. And then also 1 in 3 chance to freeze for each of those ice balls. So more to the freezing for RIMEHEART. Oh, and also thank you to Abacus for giving me the idea for both these videos. So make sure to check out the other one too, see if you like that better than this one. This one's more of a, I would say, an elite killer rather than large groups of regulars. Magic Weapon with Force Weapon gives me that 20% increased damage. Great. In my other build, I actually had this switched with Conduit because arcane power. But since I am not using Ray of Frost, I do not need to worry about it so much. So I'll take the extra 10% damage. And then I finally have Energy Armor just for defensive. Torment 6 will kick your ass if you don't have a decent amount, actually a very high amount of defense. So you do not want to get one shot. That's why I do have this. Also, I have some other things I'll show you. And then for my passives, Cold-Blooded, 10% extra damage for anybody that gets frozen. Of course, everybody's going to get frozen with this build. So had to go with this one. Unwavering Will, since I will be standing still, I'll pretty much be channeling Magic Missile. This will give me more defense and damage. Astral Presence, this will just give me a larger mana pool and also regen, because I will be using Blizzard quite a bit just for that extra freeze. So, you know, and also defense. So this is great for keeping that up. And then finally Blur for extra defense. Let's go to the gear. Alright, so this is the main part of this build. This is what the build revolves around, is RIMEHEART. 10% chance on hit to instantly deal 10,000 weapon damage. Now, I think for a single hit, this could quite possibly be the most powerful. Well, of course, it's the most powerful weapon. There might be other skills, maybe, but you know, off the top of my head, I can't think of any. And then my offhand, what I have changed. This is my other video. This is what I used Light of Grace for Ray of Frost, which allowed her to pierce. In this video, I am using Mirror Ball with Magic Missile that fires 2 extra missiles. So that means that I'm firing off 3 of these suckers, and they all 3 can hit a single target too. So that's what, 300. Like 425, I don't know, around there, almost 500% weapon damage per hit if they all connect. Well, the funny thing is I actually found an ancient one of these, but then it only fired 1 extra missile, so immediately I wasn't going to have that shit. I turned it right into crafting material. I'm sure people are going to be like, why would you do that? Well, it didn't fire 2 extra missiles. Anyway, Frostburn, I have these gauntlets, very hard to find for some reason. It took me a long time. This is the very first set that I found. And I have been trying for them for a while. But cold skills deal 14% more damage, and also your cold damage has up to a 35% chance to freeze enemies. That's big. And also, I believe that chance goes down depending on the skill. So with this build, it seems to work a lot better because Magic Missile has a very high proc rate. Excuse me. So that helps with this proc rate. And then for my helmet, I have the Magistrate, and that goes with my Frost Hydra. Now, this allows Frost Hydra to periodically cast Frost Nova, so that means I don't have to have Frost Nova, I just need to be standing near it. Very helpful, very good for this build and defense. I do have the 3 or 4 piece set bonus from Tal Rasha, well, 3 pieces and a ring. That allows me to have the 4th. And mainly this is just for the meteor that falls. That will freeze and leave a DOT on the ground afterwards. So that, of course, helps with the overall damage and defense of this build. I'd only have a 2-piece set bonus of Firebird just for the 500 intellect. Got some decent stats for defense on those. And then, damn, well, there's nothing else I can do about that. Anyway, otherwise, I do have 1 single legendary gem, and I haven't even skilled it up yet. It's actually really good. It's a Mirine. Teardrop of the Star Weaver. 50% chance on hit to smite a nearby enemy for 2012. I decided to use this. I didn't have it, and I was like, well, what the hell. If I'm doing a 10,000 damage hit, might as well do a whole bunch of little 2,000 hits. So I slapped that on there just to, just go with the whole, not doing that much damage, and then out of nowhere doing a whole bunch of damage. So otherwise, the rest of the gear isn't too special. Oh yeah, also this is Unity. And this, I almost forget about this every time. Unity, if you have 2 of these rings, you could give one to your follower. As you can see, she also has Unity. And all damage taken is split between wearers of this item. So this could be worn by players, and then all the damage will be split between them. Or you could give one to your follower and also give them, if you can find it, the focus, whatever else, for the other people. The special about this is equip on follower, your follower cannot die. So if you have these 3 pieces, 2 unities, you wearing 1, she wearing 1, or whoever, he. And then also this trinket, whatever the hell you want to call it, that will effectively reduce your damage by half. Huge for Torment 6, huge. Without that, occasionally I probably would die. But with it, a great solo build for Torment 6. So now let's look at the stats. Damage is decent, 1.25 million. Toughness, really high, 20 million defense. And only 500,000 damage, a little above. And recovery is decent. Let's see here. So attack speed increase. Now this actually dropped down. I do like to have it around 30 at least. But it's good for this build. Critical hit chance, real high, 53%. Critical hit damage could be higher. Not bad for this build, especially multiplying all this with the 10,000. Weapon damage, huge hit here. Even compared to 2,000, 2,000 ain't shit compared to 10,000 after, critical hit, multipliers, everything. If it is critical. Area damage would be great if it's up at a hundo, but it's not. That's only off of Paragon 2. I could probably slap out some shoulders, but I'd lose. It's all just a give-take with this higher level stuff. So I decided to keep it with that. Now, as you see, my cold damage increase, that is only from my gloves and Tal Rasha's set. I really never go for damage increases. The reason why is it kind of narrows what I can do with gear. Then all of a sudden whole sets of gear just revolve around one type of thing. I don't like to do that. I like to try to be flexible. That way I could change things around whenever I want. Now I have these huge damage losses. I also have real high crit values, everything like that, because you do lose for the gain. If you want the most power, of course you want to go with elemental damage increases or whatever. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of using legendaries, gems, or elemental damage, just because I change things up so much. That's what I find fun with. And also it's easier to make videos, so I don't have to, make all this different stuff. Or else I'd come out with a video every month, I think, just to, find everything perfected. But otherwise, defense very high, very high. You'll see that. I could take a lot of damage. Life per hit very high. I do like a high life per hit because seems like all my characters do a lot of hitting. So I get God, it sounds like it. Yeah, I get a lot of life back because I'm going to be slapping down so many things that hit a lot. Life per second, not that good, but you don't really notice it unless you're running away or running around after you got hit. Life per kill sucks. Don't ever try to even get this on Torment 6. It doesn't help. Unless you could just completely murder things like Torment 1, but then you're not dying. So anyway, nothing else special. That's about it. So let's go see what we can do. Alright, so now with this, essentially, is like my last build. I want to get everything up. As you can see, those procs are just amazing. This is Torment 6 too, as you can see. The procs on this are so much higher than using the other, the Ray of Frost, but of course AoE's kind of lacking. I mean, you do have, of course, your Blizzard, but that only takes up so much area, and man, that was one tough goddamn skeleton. Like, I will not get hit by 10,000 weapon damage. So as you can see, it's just when enemies come up near me, it's no problem just to freeze them. Look what we got here. And I didn't take really any damage, even though I was cornered. Everything was frozen, so they could not hurt me. So that's all I really do is just freeze and just spam the shit out of Mirror Ball. Or Mirror Ball. Out of Magic Missile. And things will die. What's funny though is when you use this, sometimes you'll just shoot something, it'll just disappear, it'll just shatter. And it's really weird for that to happen on Torment 6. As you can see, big groups do take a bit longer. And I just heard a treasure goblin. Big groups do take a bit longer because you cannot hit that much all at once. But there's a little bastard. So there's not much else to say about this build besides it is very powerful. Like I said, it's a very single target though. Unless you have certain skills kind of maxed out, proc. You can keep up your Blizzard though completely. As you can see, I keep casting it and everything just keeps freezing and dying. But keeping up both Frost, Hydra, and Blizzard is kind of a must for this build, because there isn't any problems with arcane power. And damn, if I could only find a elite mob. Let me see. Wow, that fleeting shrine is really making me bust some ass. Look at that. Alright. Oh, there's one. And totally took off. Like, oh, fuck that. So like I said, it's very easy to stay alive. They can't really damage you. That's the crazy thing about this build. Very hard to damage you. Very powerful on single targets. Especially when you get those procs. Sometimes you don't though. That's the crazy thing. Sometimes you just don't get them. And if you've seen that right there, that big chunk of life that got taken out, that was a good RIMEHEART proc. And you'll get them a lot more with this build than the Ray of Frost build. Ah, those damn shielders. Just a waste of time. There we go. Yeah, a couple of gems. So anyway, that's the build, and thanks again to Abacus for asking, or well, saying something about it. And I said, hey, what the hell, why not? Might as well make one video about it. And then I decided to make two because I had these two different, kind of different builds that work pretty damn well. So give it a try. If you like it, cool. If you need to change it, cool. I'm not saying you have to build it this way. I'm just saying, check it out. This is kind of the way I like playing it right now. You could also use Black Hole, but I don't really care for something that I can't immediately cast anytime I want to. Even though it is very, very powerful, especially with the other build, it sucks everything right up. But Let me kill this mob, and then, oh, it even has that? Yeah, okay. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed this or any of my other videos, then make sure to like and or subscribe. And also check anything else out on my channel. I got a lot more than just wizard builds. Probably a lot of people think I do, but no, I got plenty of different games and different things going on there. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.